Have you ever met a stranger and felt an immediate click? That connection is often chalked up to luck or natural chemistry. In reality, you are watching a structural dynamic play out in real time. That dynamic is called rapport, a state of mutual trust and responsiveness. According to Neuro-linguistic Programming, or NLP, rapport is a specific, learnable skill. To see how this system works, take a second and picture a specific, difficult person in your life. Maybe it's a stubborn coworker, a demanding client, or a defensive relative. Keep them in your mind as a test subject. NLP treats these interactions as a series of observable mechanics. The goal is to move past the idea that getting along is out of your control, and instead look at the specific physiological and verbal layers that make a connection possible. Step 1 starts before you even open your mouth. It requires adopting what NLP calls the second position. You have to temporarily drop your own agenda and make a genuine attempt to view the world entirely from their point of view. Many people get stuck here because they think building rapport requires agreeing with the other person. It doesn't. You only need to respect their viewpoint as valid for them. Once you have that mindset, you move to step 2. This pie chart shows the breakdown of how live communication is actually received. Notice that 55% comes from body posture, 38% from voice quality, and 7% from words spoken. We start with that 55%. Matching the physical state of the person you're talking to establishes an immediate baseline of comfort. This means noticing how they sit and subtly adjusting your own body. If they cross their legs, you cross yours. If they lean to one side, you adopt a similar torso angle. You can even match the speed of their hand gestures. You must be careful, though. If you copy every single movement they make, exact rapid mimicry looks like mocking. Their defenses will go up and trust will evaporate. The safer approach is crossover matching. This is where you match one of their behaviors with a completely different part of your own body. For instance, you might subtly tap a pen on the table to perfectly match the rhythm of their breathing. Because this synchronization mimics the natural, intuitive behavior seen between close friends or lovers, it fosters an instinctive sense of trust. It establishes a connection that the unconscious mind recognizes as safe before the logical brain even begins to process the conversation. Step 3 targets the next slice, the 38% of communication controlled by your voice tone. How you sound carries far more weight than the actual definition of the words you use. You need to calibrate 3 specific vocal attributes: the speed at which they speak, their baseline volume, and the underlying rhythm of their delivery. This becomes incredibly important during phone calls or virtual meetings. When the 55% visual component is removed entirely, vocal matching becomes your primary tool to bridge the gap. Matching their vocal energy prevents jarring conversational collisions. It creates a subconscious feeling of being on the exact same wavelength. Step 4 covers that final 7%, the actual words spoken. NLP uses a concept called pace, lead. This dictates that you must acknowledge and validate the other person's reality. That's the pacing, multiple times before you attempt to influence them to a new idea. There is one common word that destroys pacing instantly: but. The word but subconsciously deletes and invalidates everything you said right before it. You need to actively strip but from your vocabulary and replace it with and. This simple verbal reframing forces a collaborative yes and dynamic, keeping the door open even when you disagree. Now you reach step 5, testing the connection. Rapport is a two-way street. Before you move forward, you have to verify if the target is actually open to your influence. To test this, make a distinct but natural shift in your own posture or vocal tone and watch how they react. If the other person subtly adjusts their own behavior to match your new position, you have successfully led them. That unconscious mirroring proves they are receptive. You can now safely introduce your agenda, make your pitch, or bring up that difficult topic. Passing that physical test means you have successfully engineered a state of mutual trust out of thin air. You now have a complete toolkit: the second position mindset, the 55% physical matching, the 38% vocal harmonization, and the 7% language pivot. Think back to that challenging person you visualized in the beginning. In your next interaction with them, try deploying just one of these techniques, like crossover matching or dropping the word but. Applying these protocols shifts your role from a passive participant to an active architect of your own interactions. You are no longer waiting for a connection to happen. You are building the framework for mutual responsiveness.